This is Aisha, the founder of 𝐬𝐀𝐿𝐲, plant-based, feminine, and skincare company based out of Dallas, Texas. I'm excited to introduce to you our video series for your mini curves. It's where we're going to interview experts in the field to get their take on all kinds of things for our curves, our skin, our confidence, just being a woman. I'd like to introduce you to Lakeisha Grant, who has a wealth of knowledge on all things mental health.
And hello. Exactly.
So yeah,
So,
just step ladder and get up. What works best for you in those moments?
okay. So what if someone is struggling in those areas? Is that when therapy would come to play? And can you even get therapy for things like managing your hygiene and building confidence? Like, is that even something that you would see a therapist for?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yeah, I say, well, let me start with no first. At least for me, I haven't had anyone that's come in and say, hey, my hygiene is lacking. This is what I need. I want to work on. Or they don't realize that they have an issue with a lack of confidence. That's not that explicit. They don't. They may notice there's a change. They're not feeling like themselves. Something's off. So, okay, as the process of through the intake and as we're uncovering stuff and figuring out, where is the root coming from, series of questions, it's like, okay, so what are your daily habits like? Walk me through one of your days, regular days, not a day when you're feeling bad or feeling overwhelmed, but walk me through one of your regular days. And so I tracked that and it's like, okay, well, how did you sleep? Oh, I tossed and turned. I stayed up to like 2 and then had to wake up again at 6. I was like, okay, so your sleep hygiene is bad. Like, that's not good, or if you say you only ate one meal today, or are you purposely fasting? Like, or what is that about? Your eating hygiene is not that great. Like, all of it plays a part of it. So you find out about hygiene and confidence and self-care as they're talking, and you can impact it then. But yeah, it's definitely something that can be worked on while in therapy. I haven't had anyone that has come to me and say specifically, I want to work on my hygiene and my or my confidence.
Yeah. Well, that was one of mine. Confidence was one of mine. And then with confidence, I started deciphering the parts of my hygiene regimens that needed work. And then, I was able to, the healthier I started to become, I was able to start to work on those things. Because it was very daunting. Like the idea of washing my hair and like the idea of taking this eyebrow pencil every day and like drawing these eyebrows, it just was like, that is so much. But the healthier I became, it was kind of like, it wasn't as daunting anymore. And then following your model with good, better, best, what are the things that I can do if I'm rushing, if I don't have enough time? What are the things that I can do if I do have enough time? And now if I get that nap in and if I get that good meal and like I can just sit and stare at the ceiling for a couple of hours, then how I'm gonna show up. That's when you're gonna get all the extra. So that is a really good philosophy.
Yes.
Extremely good philosophy.
Good, better, best, because your emotions range throughout the day. Like anything, and unfortunately, anything can trigger an emotion or trigger you to feel like, well, now today's a crappy day. And so everything that you've already done is discredited or discounted. Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay, well, in this moment, then what can you do to take care of yourself so you get back on track?
Good. Okay. At what point is it important to talk to someone, to talk to a therapist about your confidence or if something is feeling off? Like, how do you know when it's like, ooh, okay, I need to talk to somebody?
I would say when you are feeling kind of that shell of yourself again, if you can recognize that, hey, I don't enjoy the things that I used to enjoy. I don't like spending time with people. I don't like, I don't want to take a shower. I don't want to bathe. I don't want to do or engage in anything not even necessarily for fun, but anything that requires any physical, emotional, or any type of mental energy. I'm just not, I don't have the capacity to do that. And to me, that's, you're on the more apathetic end, feeling like, I'm trying to not use very clinical terms and they keep popping. But feeling more like I'm just existing instead of, I don't want to say suicidal. That can be a part of it, but you don't always feel suicidal just because you're depressed or anxious. So I want to make that part clear, but feeling like you're just here, you're just existing day in, day out, same kind of stuck in a rut, and you don't see a way out of it and nothing sparks your interest. It's like, okay, well, maybe we need to talk to somebody and get off this train of thought or this loop and see where can we effect change at what point to start that.
Okay. So is finding a therapist difficult? And is finding a therapist like dating, where you have to like put some fillers out there and see how it flows?
Yes.
Okay.
And I say that because I have my own therapist also, and going through that process of trying to find a therapist, and I'm like, oh, I get it. But also, depending on what it is that you wanting to work on, sometimes people come in knowing exactly what they want to work on in therapy. Sometimes people just like, I know I need to talk to somebody. I don't know, I can't pinpoint it exactly, but I know I need to talk to somebody because I can't figure it out. And so trying to find a therapist that will speak to you and what it is that you wanting, needing, then you got to look at availability, your schedule, their schedule, price point. Like, it's so much energy that's needed to even look for a therapist. Yeah. So sometimes that's difficult too, and can feel daunting and overwhelming, like, well, what's the point? But I still encourage people to put those feelers out, leave a voicemail, send an email. It doesn't have to be a long drawn out email. A lot of therapists offer initial consultations. I offer a 15 to 20 minute free consultation for all new clients coming in, by phone or by video. So they can answer their questions. I can introduce myself to them, let them know in what ways do I feel that I would be able to help them based off of what they're presenting. So they don't feel like, well, now I have to pay for a session and then this doesn't work.
Yeah. I hear that in conversations. It's like, yeah, I went to therapist and like, it really didn't work. Or like, I don't know if therapy's for me. And it's like, what? You can try 3 of them.
Try more than one. Like, how many shoes do you buy at the first time? Like,
I know. Yeah, I know. Like, no, keep going. I mean, when I was looking for a new church home, I dated multiple churches. Until I was just like, oh yeah, this right here, this is it right here.
You got to find one that speaks to you. You got to find one that you feel like you can vibe with, that will be honest and genuine with you, but also keep you accountable. Mm-hmm. Kind of give you that, I call it a nice, nasty nudge. Like, okay, like, we can laugh and kiki, but also therapeutically, I'm about to read you. So
yeah. Yes, sis, what we gonna do about this? What we gonna do about this issue right here? So, what are some things that women deal with when it comes to feminine health and wellness that can affect their confidence?
Stress is a big one. Stress affects your physical body in all kind of ways that people don't fully understand, especially women, especially Black women, women of color. We hold stress and trauma in our bodies physically anyway. So more so in like your hips, lower back area. Like listen. So being able to recognize, okay, what are you, not necessarily even what are you stressed about, but what is this feeling that's occurring, and how did I let it get so far? Like, because sometimes you can't go back and change it in the immediate, but like, okay, now that I'm here, how can I start to step it back down? Not even get all the way back to zero, because That's going to overwhelm you to do that emotionally, mentally, physically. So like, okay, well, let me step it back. Let me stop it where it is and start to step it back. Okay, I'm at an 8. Okay, still kind of high, but how can I get back even further than that? But stress is one of those things that affects women's confidence. Work, family, friends, financial stress, living up to other people's expectations, superwoman syndrome, strong Black woman syndrome. Like that question in itself, when I saw it, I was like, this is enough of a whole dissertation.
It's a book. Okay. So let's say now I have realized I'm having some issues, whether they're hygiene, whether they're in the realm of the different kinds of hygiene if there are, because I didn't know that. Whether it's a confidence issue, whether just something feels off. How do I start to build confidence? Like, how do I start to improve those areas? If I'm not going to counseling, what would be some advice to start to build in those areas?
I would start small. Don't look at your goals of things that you want to accomplish within that you're trying to knock off, like, or accomplish your hygiene or change your hygiene or impact your confidence level. Don't look at it as some already at the completion. Like, when I'm at my best, this is what it's going to be. Like, because now you're not taking into account the path that it's going to take to get there. So in starting small, okay, what can I do to impact my confidence today in this moment? So something that I tell clients to do, even separate from when we're speaking together, track your wins throughout the day, and as small as they can be. If you driving to work and all the red lights were green on your way to work, girl, that's a win.
It is.
Like, okay, this is something, it's making me feel a little better, because who wants to sit in traffic? So, okay, that's a win. I got to work on time, even though I was rushing. That's a win. Somebody complimented me and I didn't dismiss the compliment, because we're good for like, oh, don't give me a compliment.
Yeah, that's me all day.
Yeah.
Girl, I got this from the thrift store. You know, and I don't have a smile on my face, but I have completely dismissed everything that you said.
Exactly. Just be like, thank you. Thank you for noticing. That's what I try to get people to say instead. Thank you for noticing. Because not only that's challenging you to accept the compliment, but making them aware of, oh, okay, well, she appreciated my compliment.
Yeah. So they didn't have to give it. I'm working on that.
Steps. It's all in steps. It happens. But tracking your wins and trying to impact your day, or impact your confidence, impact your self-care in that moment, in that day, instead of as a grand total of, I'm going to take care of myself. You should take care of yourself every day, but I'm going to take care of myself at my best level of self-care 7 days a week. And I'll be like, okay, good luck.
It's hard.
It's very hard. Okay. Or even waiting to one day to do all your self-care. Like, I love the idea of self-care Sunday, and I see that a lot. People post that a lot, and I get it. But would you wait till one day? You've worked 5, 6 days. Would you wait till the last day to eat?
Yeah, that's good.
So trying to find something small to do throughout the week, and anytime that you feel like, anytime that you want to. Like, it doesn't have to be a grand scheme of self-care items or things that will affect your confidence, but what if, buying you some flowers today makes you feel good today? Buy the flowers today.
Yeah. So self-care can be in a range of things. It doesn't always have to be our skin and hair. Okay.
Absolutely. I was trying to tailor my answer specifically for that, but because I love talking about self-care so much, and because it encompasses a range of things, one of those things like, okay, well, if your skin is flawless and being taken care of and maintained well, but you still emotionally feel like you're like crap, what good does that do for your skin?
That's good. Okay. So what would you like people to know about some of the things that we talked about today? Self-care, confidence, hygiene. Um, yeah. What would you like for people to know?
It takes time to get to the place where you want to be, but don't let that deter you from trying or starting. It's not going to always feel easy or right, like you're doing it right the first few times, but that's also because you're learning a new way of doing things. You're learning a new process pattern. So try out a few things, become your own product junkie when it comes to self-care or trying to figure out what works for you. Like if blowing bubbles works for one person and coloring works for another person, like, okay, for me, that might not work. Actually, speaking of that, for the election was just happened. Last week I sent care packages for my best friends. Because trying to help them manage stress and anxiety and encourage them to take care of themselves. Just small little things it was a care package to touch each one thing of their 5 senses. So some fuzzy socks for touch, some bubbles, actual little jar of bubbles that they could blow, a coloring book with some colors, and some Skittles, M&Ms. One of my friends, she likes macaroons, and so she's just completely
macaroons. She fancy.
She just completely would be the one that doesn't want any candy, but I get it. And a candle. I had them a jasmine scented candle for smell. So small things, and use that to take time away to distract you from your stresses. Does it change what's going on around you? No, but you're not always hyper focused on it. So kind of using that same concept with your self-care. Will it change what's going on around you immediately? No, but it's impacting you along the way and building up that confidence. Like, oh, look what I did the other day. I felt good about that. And so now you have documented proof that you can do it.
That's good. So let's say someone wants to get in touch with you. They're like, I like what she's saying, or I can't wait for this journal to drop. How do they get in touch with you?
They can find me or email me at @LakeGrant, LAKGRANT, @mindfullyrestored.com, or I am on Instagram. I need to be more active on Instagram and Twitter as I say this out loud. On Instagram @mindfullyrestored, but mindfully MINDFULLY restored RESTRD, all together. I was able to change it. So Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, you can find me there at that tag, or give me a call, 469-865-8614. That's me. That is where I reside in this digital world.
Awesome. The end.